Despite being the overwhelming fan and expert favorite, why exactly did Devon Larratt lose to Genadi Quickvinia? Was it because he was not using his King's Move technique? Was it because he was robbed by the referees? Was it because Jody wasn't there in his corner? There can be many reasons. So we will try to figure out what are the basic reasons around that theory or that fact as to why Devon lost. First one is King's Move that is being thrown around, and then positional endurance. This is something that Engin Terzi mentioned, and I find it exciting. I'll mention what he exactly meant about that. Wasting too much energy. That was another topic. First round, Devon was too cocky. He did some mistakes. And Genadi outsmarted Devon Laird. That's another issue. Genadi is way smarter than people assumed him to be. And endurance. Is Genadi's endurance in fact better than Devon? Because Devon was the one who was breathing heavy and gassed out and sweating profusely in the final round. So these are all the topics, and Genadi is a true warrior, absolute animal, absolute machine. First of all, hats off to Genadi before we discuss this topic. He kept on telling us since 2020 that he knows how to beat the King's Move. People were not taking him seriously. When he faced Michael Todd, he proved exactly that. He knew how to beat the King's Move. Now he kept on saying that his endurance is good, and it may be in fact that Devon Laird is going to get tired in that match, and he won't get tired. Nobody believed him, and now he proved all of us wrong once again. So Genadi, you're a true warrior. Let's talk about the first topic, King's Move. Why didn't Devon use the King's Move technique? Because he couldn't. Because he couldn't. It has always been Devon's weakness to be in this position, pronated position, if someone has a flop press against it. And I've been saying that thing in my videos. I've mentioned that probably 15 times. People used to make fun of me. Why do you think it is Devon's weakness? Devon is so strong there. And I was like, I saw that 2018 WL Matt Mask versus Devon Laird match, that third round. If Matt can flop press you to the pad despite you dragging your elbow off the back of the pad, that is your weakness, and that is forever going to stay your weakness. I don't care from that point if you can become 10% stronger, if you can become 50% stronger. That will forever stay your weakness. And that is Devon's weakness. We saw that. And the training method was okay. Devon was kind of anticipating that. That's why you can see Devon only practicing in this position. Not that Devon cannot take their hand in the center, the guys that he's practicing with, but he only chooses to arm wrestle here. And you see, even in practice pulls, the guys that are getting practice pull pins over tired Devon, only in this same position. Nobody is putting him in a hook and beating him in practice. Nobody is top rolling him. They're only putting him in this position and beating him. So clearly it was his weakness. Engin mentioned positional endurance. Devon arm wrestles in this position always. His endurance is great. But when is he arm wrestling in this deep hook, joint driven hook in practice? Almost never. That's why maybe he gassed out and his endurance wasn't the same here as it is here. That is also a really great and interesting technical point from Engin. Wasting too much energy in the first round. Devon got an extremely good position over Genadi. I don't think, even if Genadi has a far better endurance than Devon, which may not be the case, even then from that position he couldn't have done anything. And people are saying that there was a wrong call in that round, which there clearly was, and that's why Devon was robbed. I would say before that Devon kind of robbed himself, but nobody would notice that. Devon, this strategy has always worked for Devon. Do not pin your opponent, bleed them out. So Devon was working perfectly according to the plan that has worked for him for the past 20 years. He was trying to bleed Genadi out, and what happened after that? The referee calls an elbow foul. He was trash talking with Genadi. He was saying, "You're my dog, Opanna, Opanna, quit Genadi, quit Genadi." Instead of saying that in that first round, I think he could have pinned Genadi anytime he wanted. It may have been a struggle for 3-4 seconds, but he would eventually have gotten the pin. And that's where he made the mistake. He decided to trash talk and not finish the match. And then, what do we see? An elbow foul called on Devon Laird. In fact, I saw that replay. I even zoomed on it. I didn't see any foul despite slowing it down by 0.5x speed and despite zooming on it. In fact, before that, Genadi did a big elbow foul. It was a big pop and it was intentional. 90% it was intentional. Gennady knew that he's screwed, so he wanted to lift his elbow to get the restart, and and the referee somehow missed that foul and called a foul on Devon, which was after that. There was a moment after that where Devon's elbow may have slightly lifted, so the referee called that. And out of nowhere, Risto, the Bulgarian referee, he manages to find himself in the controversies once again. Overall, I would say the refereeing, I really liked the refereeing this time. They were strict. They were actually the authoritative figure in this event that I really admired about them. So good refereeing overall. People were talking about the shoulders. We'll discuss that in a moment. But yes, that foul was a mistake. Maybe Devon, may not maybe Devon would have won that round for sure, and maybe he wins 3-1 after that or 3-0 after that. So the result could have been changed depending on that call. I don't think anybody can deny that. But mistakes happen from referees. And peripheral vision referees, peripheral, sometimes even experienced referees miss that. It looked like he was watching only Devon's elbow. If he was watching somewhere in between both of their elbows, then the peripheral vision would have allowed him to see Gennady's foul as well. But it didn't. And shoulder, whoever was on the left side of the screen, their shoulders were never square. So do not complain about Gennady's shoulder. Both of their shoulders were not square when they were on the left side of the screen for us viewers. So Devon was actually 3 times on that side. So if in fact it may have helped Devon a little bit more than Gennady, that's what I would say. And okay, that point is taken. Endurance, Devon was, despite being totally huffing and puffing, sweating, Devon was saying that keep the strap in the final round, 5th round. And the first round, I forgot to mention how Gennady won. So first foul, a wrong call from the referee. Then Gennady went for the flop press, and he was taken down. His elbow was going back. I kept on saying for almost a month that this match is going to go in the first 1 or 2 rounds only 2 ways. Either Gennady flop presses Devon straight to the pad, or Devon decides to slide his elbow off the back of the pad with an elbow foul to avoid that pin. It can only end that way, these 2 ways. Once again, people thought that I'm crazy, but I have seen that press from Gennady, and I have seen Devon struggling in this position. So that exact thing happened. Gennady hit the flop press, Devon struggled, and he slid his elbow off the back of the pad, and that's why he lost the first round. So shoulders point, we already discussed. And maybe Devon needs to change his training a little bit, because his hand is clearly elite level, ready to hang with probably anyone else in the world except for maybe Levan or maybe Hermes Gasperini. Right there. But his arm power doesn't seem to be there. Despite weighing 280 pounds, over 280 pounds, he was looking kind of skinny. So there is definitely room for more growth physically. And I think Devon needs the Ryan Bowen training regimen right now. Full body regimen, bring those heavy bicep curls, bicep training part 3, whatever it was, cheat curls. Bring them back, Devon Laird. I think it is needed, because these barrel-like built dudes like Genadi Quickvinia, and they are willing to arm wrestle without the wrist, that is always going to be difficult. And Devon said that flop wrist press is a powerful move. When someone has a flop press, it negates a lot of outside options, so you have to go in and match with your shoulder. So Devon was easily top rolling Genadi. He could have done that anytime he wanted, but then the flop press is something that he couldn't stop. So that's why he had to go inside against Genadi. That wasn't his first choice, but that's what he had to do, and he knew that he may need to do that. So I would say Devon was focusing way too much on his hand, and I think he has kind of over improved his hand. And as they say that your arm is as strong as the weakest link, so sometimes when these guys who can flop press against them, they can expose the weaker link in your whole arm, which is your arm and not the hand. So I would say these were the main reasons. Devon was getting too cocky. He should have finished Genadi when he still can, and Genadi is awesome. So these are my basic thoughts, and a rematch is deserved. People are already talking about it. Devon wants it. I think Genadi may also want it. So a rematch is inevitable, and it can get interesting. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you can. That's important as well.